Are you good at communication? Actually, let's go deeper than this. Are you good at communication when it comes to helping somebody go to the next level in their life? Now, let's be honest, this is a really important leadership skill in life, but actually it's an important skill for all of us if we want to be a positive influence on other people's lives. And if you want to become better at communication, make sure you watch this video. Let's be honest, we all influence other people in our lives. And sometimes it can be negatively, and sometimes it can be positively. And sometimes it can just be through our actions and our behaviors. But one of the most powerful ways we can impact other people's lives is through amazing communication. Like, think about your life. I can pretty much guarantee there'll be moments in your life where someone's had a conversation with you that's shifted your life. Like, I know in my life, I can think of just off the top of my head, 4 or 5 really amazing examples where I just had a really good conversation with somebody who was an amazing communicator that literally changed the path of my life. And with this in mind, if we can understand that we have influence on other people's lives and the way we communicate with others can have a massive impact, surely we will become better at the way we communicate with our world. And today I just want to teach you a technique that's a really good technique that helps you become a better communicator in influential roles. And let's be honest, influential roles can mean anything. If you're a parent, it can be when you're talking to your kids. It can be when you're dealing with a staff member. It can be just when you're having a good conversation with a friend in a moment of need. If we can be a great communicator in that moment, we can help that person get to a higher level place within themselves. And this technique comes from the motivational interviewing process. Motivational interviewing is a process that the counselors will use when they're working with people with huge problems, think drug addicts or alcoholics and things like this. And it's trying to help them realize they need to create change and helps them move down a pathway of change. And the technique is called OARS. Step number 1 is the O. O represents asking an open-ended question that opens the person up to sharing their experience in this situation. And we can use it in a negative or positive environment. So for example, actually yesterday I was talking to my daughter on the phone, and my daughter's doing really well in life. Like, I'm really proud of my daughter. And she's becoming a really good manager in her role. She's got a management role within her career, and she's just learning so much about management. And she had just done something really well recently, and I just asked her, well, what did you do well in this situation? So I asked her an open-ended question that helped her share to me what she was doing well in this situation. Now, sometimes you can ask in a tough situation as well. So what were you thinking when you did this thing that was maybe took you down the wrong path? You know, so just asking an open-ended question which allows the person to open up to what you are, what you want to explore with them. The next thing you want to be doing is you want to be using affirmations as they're talking through their conversation. So as they're telling you about what they've done, you want to be using affirmations that reaffirm what they are, the good parts of themselves. So for example, with my daughter yesterday, I remember telling her, geez, man, you're doing so well as a manager because you did this thing. And so as I'm talking to my daughter, I'm affirming the character traits that she recognizes are important to her in her life. And what you're trying to do is, as you're listening to this person, you're affirming the parts of them that are really strong with them. And even in the negative times, you can still do this as well. Okay, so you cocked up here, but you're saying that you're really good at this part. So you're trying to affirm this person's character traits and the things that they're acknowledging they're doing well in the situation. The next thing is what we call reflective listening. Now, reflective listening is really hard, and it's a skill that takes a bit of time to develop, but it's really important. Because what most people do when they are listening to somebody is they either want to share their experience. So here's what I did in this situation, or they want to problem solve for that person. So here's what you should do. And the problem with this is, if you just want to share your experience or you just want to solve their problem, you're not actually building trust in the communication experience. So reflective listening goes like this. Your job when you're listening to this person is to think, what is it like to be this person in this situation? You're literally putting yourself in their position. And then when you're talking to them, you communicate back your understanding of what it's like to be this person in this situation. So let's just say you've got a friend who's broken up in a relationship and their partner cheated on them and in a really kind of challenging situation. And they're saying that they're really struggling emotionally because they're struggling practically in their life because their emotions are taking over. Now, what traditionally what people might do is they might say, yeah, well, when my partner broke up with me, here's what I did, or here's what I think you should do. Instead, what you should do is you should say, oh, so you're finding it really tough to act rationally in your life because you're just feeling overwhelmed with the emotions that you're in right now. So see what I did there? I just reflected back to this person what they've communicated to me. Now, here's a good little tip. When you do amazing reflective listening, the person will guide you if you've got it correctly, because they'll say yes. They'll let you just say yes. Like you know, if I just said back to you, oh, so you're struggling because you're in an emotionally challenging place and you're struggling to act rationally in life, you'll say yes. And then what will happen is you'll continue on. Now, the great thing about this experience is you're building trust, but you're actually just letting the person figure their things out. Because let's be honest, most of us can figure our things out. Even if I know the obvious solution to your problem, if I just let you explore, you tend to find the answer yourself. And that's where reflective listening is really important, because you're helping the person work through their journey. And again, a great way to communicate with your reflective listening skills is literally think, what's it like to be this person in this situation? What are they trying to communicate to me? And then communicate that back to them, looking for the yes. Now, what's really interesting about this is if you get it wrong, even if you're coming from the right place, people will let you know, actually, you haven't got this right. They'll go, oh, no, that's not it. Come over here with me. Because that's what communication is. Communication is an understanding of where I am right now. Then the last part of this process of oars is what we call summaries. So at the end of the conversation, you do a summary of what you've talked about with this person. So it might be, let's go back to the breakup situation. Okay, so you've been working really hard on dealing with your emotions, and what you've said is the best way to deal with it is to keep the walking in your life, to make sure you connect with your friends, and just to make sure you're looking after your health as you're working through this time. And you think that the best way to do it is just keep connecting with me because it's a really important thing to do. See, I've just done a summary of the conversation. Now, just to recap, again, oars is open-ended questions, using affirmations that reinforce the positives that they're communicating to you. Reflective listening, that's where you put yourself in their shoes and then reflect back a yes, or looking for that yes in the way you communicate back to them, and then summaries. This is one example of communication, but it's a really, if I'm going to challenge you, what I want you to see is the next moment in your life where somebody is needing help. It can be because they're struggling, it could be because you're trying to get into the next level. And I want you to see what you traditionally do. Do you traditionally try to problem solve or just tell them your experience? And if you are that person, maybe just stop yourself. Like, I think this is the most important bit, is when you're learning this skill, is learning to stop your traditional ways and just walk through the steps. Okay, I'll ask an open-ended question. Now my job is to affirm the person and use reflective listening. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a summary at the end. Notice if you do this technique, notice the difference. I've found by using techniques like this and other communication skills that my impact on other people through communication is way more powerful than what I used to do when I used to problem solve for other people. So again, stop yourself when you're doing your traditional ways, practice this process and see the impact you can have on other people's lives and the way you communicate. If you enjoy my videos and you're not exercising, or you know somebody in your life who really struggles with exercise, I've got to recommend my new book, I Will Make You Passionate About Exercise. The purpose of this book is to take those who struggle with exercise from where they are to cementing the foundation that creates a lifetime love of exercise. It has all the steps, it has a plan, it has a journey that you go through that safely and wisely guides you to bringing exercise in your life in the most successful way possible. To get the book, go to www.passionaboutexercise.com. It will be the best thing you can do for your health and fitness. Get the book right now and you'll be seeing massive change in your health and fitness in a very short period of time.